All right, GERO 200, summer 2023. So what is today? Today's June 12th, okay? It is Monday, and so we're gonna do this second segment on the economics of aging. I got my cold pack off my shoulder. I'm gonna go see the orthopedic surgeon today at 2:15. So guys, wish me luck, pray for me, whatever it is, okay? Alrighty, so Julie sent out some reminders along with a study guide for this first midterm exam. It's 60 multiple choice questions. The questions are taken from the same pools as your quizzes. And you have 2 hours to take it unless you have OSAS accommodations. You see that the exam is set up, so it's open from the 10th through the 18th, okay? I wouldn't wait till the last minute. Once you're in, you got 2 hours, okay? All right, if you have any problems, text us and or email us and we'll guide you through that. The next thing on your list, again, this is a beautifully compressed class. You're gonna have your second CT, and this is due on June 19th, Monday, June 19th, and there is a description of how to do it, and this is a perfect complement to the instruction that we're doing this week, all right? And that has to do with the economics, the financing, the business aspects of aging, all right? Very cool. So we set the stage in the lecture I sent out to you guys yesterday, where we talked about the many different issues that people are having globally, countries having globally, because of their really lucrative entitlement programs where they had guaranteed a very fat paycheck as a pension, which is a guaranteed income, to people in some of the old world countries, European countries. Oftentimes people would retire at age 55, and so it's not sustainable. And so they're trying now to pass new laws in these countries so that people have to work longer. We're ahead of the curve there on that. We have we're at the bottom end of entitlement programs, especially for developed countries. It's all about being a capitalist society. Okay, why do we need to have income when we get older? Okay. We need income because of the significant cost that happens in terms of these progressive, non-infectious, non-communicable diseases of aging: cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, and just also the cost of living. These entitlement programs are not keeping up with the cost of living, and then God forbid you need care. Okay, and the cost for maintaining support so you can go through your routine, your daily activities of living. Okay, so it's a big deal. All right, so we set the stage here about how the globe is set up, what we have to do. Now let's see how we're stacking up. Okay, in a capitalist society, are we doing okay in the United States? That's what we're going to find out in assignment 10. So this video is going to go right here, guys. And so this is kind of the goals of this lecture. Okay, there's basically we have along with everything else, I have a slide deck right here. Okay, that covers everything. It's exactly what I'm going to go through here, so I'm not going to open the slide deck. Some of you like to have a slide deck. So we're going to see kind of on a broad social level, okay, how well the United States has prepared itself for retirement, how well us as individuals are prepared, and what our country is doing to help us out. Okay, so we'll ask basic questions. What percentage of the population has saved for retirement? Is it enough? Just because you saved $5 in retirement doesn't mean you're going to be ready. Okay, how is savings differing between the generations, between us, the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, the millennials? Okay, you guys Gen Zs, how is it saving? Well, cost of living is pretty significant now, so people are not saving as much, and we're going to see that. Okay, is there a big percentage of our country that is going to be solely relying on Social Security benefits to cover their cost of living, to cover their retirement? Sadly, the answer is yes. So we'll see that roughly 20-25%. That's all they have. Some people have a very small amount. But when we watch the last video that's in your discussion, you'll see that over 50% of the population in the United States says they're totally reliant on Social Security to cover their retirement. We're going to see how much money that is. You see that it's not, again, sustainable. Okay, so you know, when we're looking at this source of income, you know, luckily I have my 401k, okay? Um, we have IRAs, we have all these different sources of income. We have, luckily, this house that has a huge amount of equity, okay? And so it allows me to spend more, right? So we're going to look as a function of generation, how people spend their money. And again, the big one is what percentage of their, or how much of their income is going towards healthcare costs, which are pretty significant. And then we're going to give you the initial shot over the bow, some guidelines in terms of investing for your retirement. And then next lecture that I'll be doing tomorrow, we're going to teach you all about the toolkit for retirement, okay? And that's doing IRAs, annuities, 401ks, all these, a lot of you maybe can invest in real estate. You know, there's always, you know, the cost benefit, the associated risk analysis that you do when you're doing investing. All right, so we're just going to go through the chart. So this is this really cool article, okay? Wall Street Journal. It's got a paywall, okay? But if you want to get in there and look at it, I encourage you to, okay? I provide the URL for that, all right? Dive deeper into it. We're just going to go through the charts. I'll explain everything. This is something you've seen over and over and over again, this course, okay? So what's happening? So people are living longer, okay? Our mortality rates are going down, meaning people live longer, okay? So we look at here the number of people age 65 as a percentage of our US population. Again, the balance between people that are working and the people that are dependent, okay? And we see that it's gone up and up and up. Here's the last record done at 2020. This is an article which just published this summer. And then these, of course, are the projections that the percentage is going to go up and up and up. Okay, so we all know that, okay? So let's ask the basic question here. There's two figures right here. What type of retirement accounts do Americans have, okay? So there's two ways of looking at this, okay? First of all, this is looking at the average retirement account by households in our country, okay? There's two graphs right here, okay, from the Wall Street Journal. The problem with an average is it's going to be skewed, okay? So, who's included in this average? Elon Musk, okay? Bill Gates, okay? So they're going to skew the average, okay? When we look at the kind of groupings by lowest 10%, highest 10%, and everything in between, we see that a huge component, the huge percentage of our country has next to nothing for retirement, all right? So we're looking by age group, okay? And we see here, if you're under 35 years of age, on average, about 30,000 is saved. We come up here, right here, 45 to 54, okay? So this is kind of millennial right here. And about, on average, 250, but there's a lot of people that have nothing, okay? A lot of people have nothing. Like I said, 45% of retirees that would be in this age group right here are completely reliant on Social Security. 50% of retirees, sorry. Anyways, so a better way to look at that, so this kind of lets you know how you stack up in terms of everybody in our country. How about if we just line the entire country up, okay? And we're looking right here at the median household savings by age, okay? And so that means half have more, half have less. We're looking at the middle of our population, okay? So now look at how people stack up, okay? And so what is this? The household net worth is, yes, it's all the investments that we talked about right here. So this includes retirement accounts, okay? And cash you might have just in your regular old banking account, okay? So investments in cash, okay? It includes the value of your house, okay? It includes the value of your cars, okay? If times got tough, we could sell our cars and there's some value there, okay? So those are our assets minus our financial liabilities, things like your credit card debt, student loans, and how much I owe in this house, my mortgage, okay? So we know all that, we look right in here, all right? And we see that the numbers are far less, okay? We see right here that the net worth, median net worth of people 75 or more is about $250,000, 65 to 74. These are the baby boomers, close to 250 at 266, okay? And again, most of the net worth is in the house right here, okay? Again, we bought this house for $430,000. This house is now worth $2.5 million, all right? So that's where the majority of the net worth is. Most people do not have adequate retirement accounts, okay? Awesome. Now, how about that significant population that has none? Okay, we'll see down here, 25% reported none. Like I said, 50% have next to nothing, okay? So you stack that up against the cost of living, and this is a big one right here. We're looking at, so if you are totally reliant on Social Security income, the average benefit is only $1,800 a month, okay, $1,825, you see right here. That's the average, okay? We're going to see in the video for this course, way down here in your discussion, this is awesome. You have to watch this. They explain exactly how your Social Security, monthly Social Security payment is calculated. Go back up here to the Social Security, okay? And basically it is indexed, okay, with this calculation that looks over your 35 years of income that you've earned, okay, based on how much money you've reported in your federal taxes, okay, how much you paid federal taxes on, okay, and so it is indexed, and then it is tweaked a little bit by how much money you've been making, okay, trying to help benefit the poor a little bit. Again, the original design was great, it just didn't keep up with the cost of living, okay. So we see down here, if you retired at age 62, the maximum benefit would be about $2,500 a month, okay? So, and that's if you were, the top earner, okay? If you wait till you're 70, then the maximum benefit is about $4,500 a month. This would be the annual amount right here, okay? There's always cost of living, they call it adjustments or called COLAs that are made. All right, hardly enough money to pay rent in LA, where your typical one-bedroom apartment is going to be approaching $2,000 a month. All right, so these are big issues. Okay, something to think about, and this is why you have to invest. Okay, so we look right here. This is the U.S. Federal Reserve. This is a great website. You click on it. Okay, it's got a ton of resources. We are just honing in on this figure right here. All right, so we ask ourselves, okay, how is it distributed? If you have invested in your retirement, okay? If you've taken money out of your paycheck and you put it into these investment strategies, we're going to learn most of them are what are called tax deferred. It reduces your taxable income. You take it out of your paycheck, it disappears into the Netherlands until you start accessing it after your retirement, and then you pay taxes on it based on how much you spend, okay? So when we look at these guys, and we'll talk about another one called the Roth IRA, that is a different setup when I do that lecture tomorrow, okay? So this right here is what a majority of people rely on, okay? So this is what I have, okay? So I have what's called a 403B because supposedly USC is not for profit, okay? 401k if you work for a large company like Microsoft, okay? Alrighty, that's where the majority of retirement accounts exist, okay? Where else do people have money, okay? We see a lot of 50% of money, people have money in their savings accounts. This is gonna be a very low value. Obviously you don't earn any interest in us. Here we're getting about a return on our investment of maybe between 6 and 8% annually, sometimes better, sometimes worse, okay? Here you're only gonna get, 1-2% on your money, okay? But you should always have this reserve fund in your savings account that you could draw upon in an emergency, and that's what that's all about. We have individual retirement accounts, okay? There are a couple of different categories that we'll talk about, and this makes up 36%. We see if you work for a government agency or a few rare examples of private companies, and they've given up the ship on that because it's too costly, of a guaranteed pension system, okay? So police officers, firefighters, congressmen, presidents of the United States, they get a defined benefit pension, okay? And then we see a very small percentage of people have real estate investments. This is not this is something that would be spinning off revenue, okay? This is not like the house you live in, okay? But such a huge number of people have nothing. Awesome, okay. So when we then survey, so this is from the same article from the Federal Reserve, they go in and survey people, and they look. In this article, they looked at retirement savings in the U.S. Okay, and in this table, they asked, do you have any retirement savings whatsoever? And they analyzed the data by age group, race and ethnicity, and disability. Okay, so we see that a majority of people have some kind of money in. Again, the amount can be very, very low. Okay, we see that if you're Hispanic or Black, you're less likely to have any form of retirement savings. And you see the one that is striking to me is if you have some form of disability, you see how much fewer people have any form of retirement investment. Then you ask these people over here, all right, so you've got money, are you on track? Okay, do you feel like you're going to be able to live a comfortable life after you retire? And you see the majority of people say no. All right, 30% here for this age group. Over here, 16 above, only 50%. Okay, we look down here according to culture and ethnic background. We see 50% of these groups say yes, only 25% of Black and Hispanic groups say yes. And then we come down here to the people that have disability, and it's abysmal. Okay, 70% feel that they're prepared. So it's a big, big deal. Okay, so we look at from the U.S. Census. Okay, another great resource. All right, so you click right here, and it takes you into this again and ask about the demographics, the distribution of retirement accounts. Okay, and we see right here based on age group. Okay. What percentage of people have retirement accounts, okay? And, again, roughly 60%, 50% at these age groups right here. It doesn't tell us how much, though. Some people have very small amounts, okay? Men outnumber women. And what's great about this is we're breaking this down, because in this prior figure up here, we didn't break it down by ethnicity, cultural background. We come down in here, okay, and we see that there is a disparate opportunity based on your culture background. And we see that Black Americans and Hispanic Americans, everybody is at a lower level than white America, right? Okay, all righty, so this is from that Wall Street Journal article, up here with the 6 figures that tell us everything about how we are financially in our country. We know, we talked about the disability that comes with aging. I'm going to go look at my shoulder here in about an hour, okay? And we see the cost, okay? And the cost of health insurance goes up and up and up. It's prorated, okay? Just like we all looked at our BMI, remember? Insurance companies use that BMI, the body mass index, to assign your risk for having to pay out. And so then they assign that in terms of the kind of premium you're going to be using, okay? Do you have diabetes? Do you have heart disease? On and on and on, okay? Out here, insurance knows that the biggest cost is aging, all the age-related diseases. So we see that the average health expense, okay, in terms of just your insurance premium is significant when you get older. Now remember back, maybe I'm only making $2,500 or $2,000 a month, so I'm making $24,000 a year, and we see here that $7,000 going to $8,000 a year is just going to go towards out-of-pocket medical expenses, my premiums, services, drugs, supplies that are not covered by the insurance, okay, out of pocket. Okay, all right. So we look at as a percentage of how I spend my money then, okay? And we look at these generational age groups right here, okay? And again, this is from that article right here. This is really cool from the World Economic Forum. So great resources. You don't have to go into these. You can go check it out on your own. It's beautiful. I was just tapping into some of the key elements that I found that would be important for our story, okay? And we see right here we talked about the significant elevation in terms of out-of-pocket expenses for this age group right here. And in terms of their total annual expenditures, on average, okay, it's almost 16%. For some people, it's going to be far higher. It could be 1/4, 1/3 of their total Social Security income, even 1/2. All right, so we can see how the older you are, the greater percentage of your spending is going towards healthcare spending. Okay, we can then look at the average amount of money being spent by people, your average annual expenditures. This shows you why averages don't work. Okay, this is nothing. This is nothing. You know, we're looking at obviously the peak in spending, okay, is right here in Gen X's, okay? So they're living la vida loca, they have lots of assets, they're going out, they're traveling, they have new cars, on and on and on and on. But still, this is really nothing. But what you do see in this trend is you gain momentum in terms of income, you start spending more, living a better life, and then you start going into retirement and your expenditures will go down, okay? You don't have to spend for gas to go to work. And the reality is you're just not as mobile, you're not as risk-taking, so you're less likely to be taking trips to Fiji to go surfing and stuff like that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so here again, this is the World Economic Forum, okay, and this is the average amount of money spent on housing in 2021 and what that is in terms of the total expenditures, okay, and we see that, you know, across the board about 30% is spent on housing, okay, but it can be, regionally different. Out here in LA, it's a big deal, okay. Alrighty. We're looking at it over here. It says how much we spend on entertainment. Okay, and this kind of goes through, on an annual basis, each generation what they're spending on entertainment. Now, I just wanted to remind you guys that about 30% of Americans live solely on Social Security. This is not what they're going to be doing. They're going to be on the low end, and that's why looking at an average is not always good. Okay. With an average Social Security benefit of about $1,800 a month, you can see that the cost of living for these guys is going to be significant, and they're going to be in a world of hurt. All right. Alrighty. So this is where you guys are stacking up here. This is what you should be doing. This is from a cool CNBC article telling us right now, quoted from Fidelity, and that's the retirement investment company that we use for our 403b. And this is your projection for each age group. Okay, as you approach 30 years of age, you should have about $55,000 saved. Age 40, 3 times your income, 56 times your income to live a life that equals the lifestyle that you are living at that point in time. Okay, all righty, very, very cool. All right, so this is your discussion. All right, this goes into this issue that we talked about. Okay, and this is looking at the Medicare beneficiaries and their out-of-pocket expenses for healthcare. It's the cost of your traditional Medicare premium and your supplemental insurance, for example. Okay, and then all the different things. I just talked to my neighbor. He had to get a platelet-rich plasma injection into his knee, $1,600. It was not covered. Okay, all righty. So these are some of the out-of-pocket expenses, and we see what percentage that is of the Social Security income that people have, and we see that it's rising. Now, this could be 50% of my Social Security income is going towards my healthcare costs, but again, and that's awesome to look at that. That's, the averages, because it's more confined. The spread is not that big. Obviously, I have extra money that's going to help me in terms of my cost of living. Okay, alrighty. So down here, okay, you look into, this is an explanation of Social Security. This is from 2012, these two videos from a great foundation. This is the absolute must. You need to watch this video. It explains to you how your Social Security income is calculated. It explains to us that 50% of Americans are relying on Social Security for their retirement. So they're in a world of hurt. And it talks about the fixes. One of the problems with Social Security, and this is a huge debate in our U.S. Congress. It depends on which administration is present, and that is, you are only charged the Social Security taxes, okay, which is 6.2% of your income that you earn that year, for your up to $137,000. Okay, after $137, there's no more Social Security taxes taken out of it. Okay, so that's a big issue. Okay, and so the idea is maybe we should charge more. Okay, for people that make more, and a compassionate society to help pay for the people that are relying solely on Social Security. Okay. They talk about a fixes. The bottom line is either we reduce benefits to keep the system afloat, or we increase taxes. It talks about how the money taken in out of your paycheck is put into an account in the federal government called the Social Security Trust, and it was flush with money. Actually, would be invested in low risk investments called government bonds, these special type of bonds that was yielding about 2% annually. So it was churning, it was growing. But what happened? More people started tapping into it, and by 2010 it started going negative. Okay, and what's going to happen in projections by about 2030, it's going to start going really negative and broke. It's going to start pulling off the principal, and we're going to be in trouble. All right, so check that out. I want you guys to comment on this, think about it. Okay, and peace. We'll see you next time.